Welcome back for another deep dive. Today, we're going to be looking at graph theory
Okay.
and how it can be used to make better business decisions.
Sounds good.
So it might sound a little academic, but it's actually like incredibly useful
Right.
for making smarter choices,
Yeah.
and especially in business.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't realize how much math goes into like their everyday lives.
Right.
It's like we're constantly
Yeah.
using algorithms and things like that.
Exactly. And we have a research paper here called Graph Theory for Business, Applications and Benefits.
Okay.
And it's really fascinating.
Yeah.
It has lots of great examples of how different companies are using this math concept.
I have heard of this one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah, to solve real problems.
Yeah.
Problems like,
Well, Google's a great example.
Yeah.
They use it all the time
yeah?
for search engine rankings,
Uh-huh.
targeted advertising, that kind of thing.
Right. And so today, in this deep dive, we're going to be looking at all of this,
Sounds great.
all of these different things. So
Awesome.
what is it about graph theory
Well,
that makes it so useful?
I think one of the things is that it really simplifies complex relationships.
Okay.
Like it gives us this like framework to visualize all these connections.
Okay.
And once you can see the connections,
Right.
it's way easier to analyze them and really understand them.
Right. So by understanding them, we can make better decisions.
Exactly. And it's super useful in business.
Okay. So it's all about connections and making sense of them.
Mm-hmm.
But I was actually kind of surprised
Yeah.
to learn that graph theory's been around for centuries.
Oh, yeah.
The paper mentions that.
It's super old.
Yeah. So where did this all begin?
So it goes back centuries.
Okay.
And one of the big moments was this problem
Okay.
called the Seven Bridges of Königsberg
Okay.
back in 1736.
Oh, wow.
And this puzzle, it totally stumped people
Okay.
until this brilliant mathematician named Leonhard Euler came along and solved it.
Uh-huh. And how did he do that?
Well, he represented the bridges and landmasses as nodes and edges.
Oh, wow.
And this was like the foundation of graph theory.
So that's fascinating. So just by using nodes and edges, which are the core components of graphs,
Yep.
he solved this real-world problem.
It's amazing, isn't it? He just like simplified it
Yeah.
into something he could understand,
Right.
and then he could solve it.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and then over time, mathematicians like
Okay.
Dennis Koenig and Paul Erdős,
Okay.
they built on Euler's work and really expanded the field.
Uh-huh.
And then like as computing power increased,
Right.
graph theory just exploded.
Oh, wow.
Like the applications just grew exponentially.
So it's everywhere now.
pretty much.
Like in all of our digital applications, like our search engines or social media. It's amazing
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
how something that started with bridges
I know, right?
can be so widely used today.
It's pretty amazing.
So, okay, let's break down how graph theory actually helps us
Sure.
make decisions.
So the key to understanding the power of graph theory in decision making
Okay.
is to first understand like the basic building blocks,
Right.
which are nodes and edges.
Okay.
And basically nodes represent entities
Okay.
and edges show the connections between them.
Okay.
So like think of a city map.
Okay.
Cities are the nodes.
Okay.
Roads are the edges.
Okay.
Connecting them.
In a social network, each person would be a node,
Exactly.
and all their friendships would be the edges.
Yeah, but it's not just social networks.
Right.
You can use this concept in all sorts of business situations. So like think of
Okay.
products in an online store.
Okay.
Products are the nodes
Uh,
and customer purchase history
right.
that forms the edges,
Okay.
revealing all these like purchasing patterns
Oh, wow.
and relationships between the products.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, and analyzing that data can help you like, okay,
Make product recommendations.
Right.
Or plan inventory.
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So we have this network of nodes and edges.
Right.
But how does that actually help us make decisions?
Well, that's where algorithms come in.
Okay.
These algorithms work on these networks and help us solve all these complex problems
Okay.
and make more informed choices.
So for example,
So, for example, there's Dijkstra's algorithm,
okay.
which finds the shortest path between two nodes
Okay.
in a weighted graph.
In a weighted graph.
Yeah. So imagine you're a logistics company.
Okay.
You can use Dijkstra's algorithm to find the most efficient delivery routes.
Okay.
And you can consider things like traffic,
Right.
distance cost.
So instead of just relying on intuition or simple calculations, they're using these algorithms to optimize everything.
Exactly. They can optimize their whole operations
based on...
Based on all the relationships and connections that graph theory reveals. That's amazing.
And that's just one example.
Okay.
There are tons of other algorithms,
Yeah.
each designed to tackle different problems and reveal insightful information that's hidden within these networks.
Wow, this is great.
Yeah, it's super powerful.
So we've got these algorithms helping companies
Right.
optimize delivery routes. That's incredibly practical.
Yeah.
But what are some other ways that graph theory and its algorithms are being used in business decision-making?
Okay. Let's consider Prim's and Kruskal's algorithms.
Okay.
They help us find the most cost-effective way to connect all the nodes in a network.
Okay.
It's called a minimum spanning tree.
Minimum spanning tree.
Yeah. So imagine a telecommunications company
Okay.
setting up a network of cell towers.
Right.
They could use these algorithms to figure out like the minimum cable length needed to connect all the towers.
So it saves them money and resources.
Yeah. It makes the whole network more efficient.
It was all about efficiency and minimizing costs.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's great. What about other algorithms that are particularly useful for certain business needs?
There's one that's widely used in project management called the critical path method, or CPM.
CPM.
Yeah, and it helps identify the critical tasks in a project to make sure it gets done on time. So like by visualizing the project as a network, CPM helps managers prioritize, allocate resources, and anticipate any potential delays.
So it helps keep projects on track.
Exactly.
And on budget.
Yeah, it leads to much better planning and execution.
That sounds really useful.
It's a game changer for project management.
What about PageRank?
Oh, yeah.
The algorithm that Google uses to rank websites.
That's the one.
I'm curious to know more about that.
Yeah, so PageRank analyzes the links between web pages to figure out how important and relevant each page is.
So that's how Google decides
pretty much
which websites to show us at the top of the search results.
Yeah, it's all about understanding the connections between pages.
That's fascinating. So businesses can use this understanding to optimize their own websites.
Absolutely.
For search engines.
Yeah, they can attract more traffic, improve user experience, all that good stuff.
So it impacts so many things.
It really does.
From their web design to their content creation to their marketing strategies.
Everything.
So we've got delivery routes.
Yeah.
We've got website rankings.
Right.
What other areas of business intelligence are being revolutionized by graph theory?
Well, one big one is customer segmentation.
Okay.
And targeted marketing.
Oh, interesting.
You can represent customers as nodes.
Okay.
And their interactions with products or services as edges. And then you can use graph theory to group customers with similar preferences.
So instead of just sending generic messages, you can create targeted marketing campaigns.
Exactly. You tailor everything to specific customer groups.
That makes a lot of sense.
It's all about personalization.
What about managing risks?
Okay.
Can graph theory help with that?
Absolutely. So supply chain optimization and risk management are crucial for most businesses.
Right.
So you model the production facilities, warehouses, transportation routes, all as nodes. And factors like distance, cost, and capacity. Those become edge weights.
Edge weights.
And then companies can visualize and analyze their entire supply chain.
So they can see potential bottlenecks or vulnerabilities.
And identify alternative route. Manage inventory effectively.
So they can make their supply chains more efficient and resilient.
And ultimately minimize risks.
That's incredibly valuable.
Especially these days when supply chain issues are a big concern.
Exactly. So we've talked about supply chain optimization.
Yeah.
We've talked about customer segmentation. What other applications of graph theory are really making a difference?
Fraud detection is a big one. Financial institutions use graph theory to analyze transactions and spot any suspicious patterns. So transactions are the edges, individuals or accounts are the nodes. And they can see any unusual connections or activities.
So it's like they're looking for anomalies within that network of financial transactions.
And this helps them prevent fraud.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, it's a powerful tool.
What about social media?
Social media is basically a giant graph
That's true.
Businesses are using graph theory to analyze social networks, to understand brand sentiment, and to identify key influencers.
So they can see who's talking about their brand.
Exactly.
And how people are connected.
And this helps them develop better social media strategies.
Right.
Engage with their target audience, and manage their brand reputation.
So it's all about understanding those relationships and connections.
Exactly. Yeah, it helps them cut through all the noise on social media.
And make sense of all that data.
Exactly.
So graph theory, it seems like a pretty versatile tool.
Definitely.
From optimizing delivery routes to understanding customer preferences, even combating fraud.
Yeah.
It seems like it has applications across so many different business areas.
It's all about the connections.
Yeah. So as we wrap up this deep dive, what are some key takeaways?
Okay, well, I think the biggest one is that graph theory gives us this powerful framework for understanding and analyzing relationships. By representing things as nodes and connections as edges, we can visualize and simplify these complex systems.
Right. It's like having this visual map of all the connections within a business.
Exactly. And the algorithms that go along with graph theory, they give us the tools to solve specific problems and to optimize processes.
So whether it's finding the shortest path or identifying the most cost-effective connections or managing complex projects.
Yeah, these algorithms.
They offer practical solutions based on data.
It's all data-driven.
So it's not just about visualizing the network.
Right.
It's about using the right tools to extract meaningful information from that network.
And to make better decisions.
And make better decisions.
And the really cool thing is the applications of graph theory are always expanding.
Right, especially now with so much data.
Exactly, in our data-driven world.
Yeah, the ability to analyze and use those relationships becomes more and more important.
Absolutely.
I think it's clear that graph theory can give businesses real advantage.
A huge advantage.
In today's competitive world.
And it's not just for like mathematicians or data scientists.
Yeah.
It's valuable for anyone making decisions.
Especially in business.
Especially in business.
This has been a fascinating deep dive. It has. I've learned so much.
Me too.
About the power of connections.
Yeah.
And how understanding those connections can lead to better decisions.
It's all connected.
It is.
That's the beauty of it.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
It's been a pleasure.
And for sharing your expertise on graph theory.
Of course.
And to our listeners.
Yeah.
We hope you found this deep dive informative and insightful.
I hope so.
And that it inspires you to explore how you can apply graph theory to your own challenges.
Absolutely.
And unlock new possibilities.
Thanks for having me.
It's been great having you.